Happy Friday, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Well, the jobs report came in not so good. Not so good. But you know what? It's funny because, it doesn't seem to affect the Dow. I'm at a loss for words. Nasdaq's off a little bit. It's kind of doing okay. It just seems like a wait see attitude. I just can't really get my hands around everything. Did close a trade today, spread trade that I had. It was a bear bear trade on Constellation Brands (STZ), and I closed it for a loss, which I thought it was going to move lower based on these job reports, but it's a Dow stock, and it just kind of moved higher. So what do you know? I mean, I can't. I'm a little bit out of sync with the market, maybe. I don't know. I did do something today. I did buy. I increased my position in Robert Half, RHI, and I'm going to show you that in a second on some of the slides. If you're looking on TikTok, super easy. Just go over, and you can see all the slides and everything. Go to https://bit.ly/DTF384. If you go over there, you will see the you'll see the show. Also, if you don't want to do that, you can just click on the profile, and that will bring you to what they call beacons. Scroll all the way to the bottom, and you will see the live version that we were simulcasting on YouTube. So here we go. Basically, what's happening is interesting things. Interesting things are happening in, the world of Tesla, I guess. What's happened is that it looks as if. Let me change that. Yeah. Let's go back here. Yeah, what's happening in the world of Tesla is the Tesla's going to move its headquarters to Texas. Believe it or not. so there you go. They're going to move down to Austin. Of course, I'm up here in Dallas, but I do go down to Austin quite a bit. It's not all that far, so Tesla's going to move to Austin. They're kind of freaking out in California, which is unfortunate because I used to live in the Bay Area. As a matter of fact, I went to graduate school very near where Fremont is, where the facility is for Tesla. But they're moving to Texas. So what can you say? Yeah, it's one of those things. Here's stocks that I am going to add. Right now we're in this kind of weird place. We haven't had a follow through day. We're still in sort of a downtrend. So you don't want to go heavy exposure right now. I'm about 70 to 75% in cash looking for opportunities, but I'm trying to build my watch list, and I kind of wanted to share with everybody out there what I was putting in my watch list. So, without further ado, let's take a look. I did add to this position today. I'll be honest with you. This is Robert Half, and I think this is a really great stock. And oddly enough, we have terrible jobs numbers, but yet they can't find enough candidates. So guess what? Robert Half, which is I think the biggest staffing firm in the world, doing very, very well. It's up today $2 a share to about 109.21. This is one you might want to look at. Very strong composite rating. This is a high relative strength with at a new high. So this is one you might want to kind of look in on. Symbol on this is RHI. Robert Half International, and a very interesting company and very good company when it comes to the staffing situation. Also, there are some energy stocks that are on my watches. I don't own them currently. The only energy stock I own is EOG Resources. I took profits on Diamondback and on see, what was the other one I took profits on? I can't remember. But anyways, I took profits. And the XLE. But here are two that are setting up very, very nicely. It doesn't show on this chart, but this is right in a buy zone right now. Consol Energy, CEIX is the symbol on that. 34.15. It's got extremely strong 96 composite rating, which is very, very strong. So you might want to note this one down. Consol Energy, CEIX, setting up very, very nicely. I don't own it, but I'm very tempted to buy it because of the way it's looking. The chart's looking on this one. Also, another one in the energy group. These are all in the E&P group. By the way, this is the number 2 sector of the stock market right now. The number 1, believe it or not, is coal. coal. Can you believe that? And then the number 2 is oil. And these are the oil and gas E&Ps that are domestic, that are U.S. based. So this is another one that's setting up extremely nice. This is going on my watch list. I really like this one. It is SM Energy, composite rating 89, looking very, very strong. The thing I like about SM is that they have a lot of natural gas, and natural gas is going to be a huge play this winter. Unfortunately, we've got inflation coming at us just right and left, and in the in New England, it's going to be tough sledding. I hate to, my heart goes out to you guys because you're going to have some major, major heating bills this winter, and it's so avoidable. But if you're going to pay it, if you're going to pay at the pump and you're going to pay in the heating bill, you might as well get some of your money back by buying some of these companies that are going to benefit. And this is one of them that I think is going to benefit. SM Energy. SM is the symbol. Very easy. It's on the New York Stock Exchange, and it's big in natural gas and in the onshore area. So this one might do very, very well coming into winter. In the in the Northeast and also in the Midwest, I think you're going to, gas is going to be expensive. So, but this one you might be able to benefit, get a little bit of a discount there. Now, as the economy reopens, a lot of people are going to want to go to Vegas. I kind of want to jump on a plane right now and go to Vegas myself. I may be doing better than some of my spread trades, which I can't believe that, anyways, I maybe do better with roulette than I'm doing with some of them. But anyways, International Game Technologies, very interesting stock. Symbol on this is IGT, and it's just looking really, really good. And here's the interesting thing about IGT. It participates in the purses in these big casinos in Vegas and Reno and all those other places, and here, even the Indian casinos like in Durant, Oklahoma, if you're ever in this area. But because basically what they do is they sort of have a floor plan. They put their machines in, and then they get a percentage of the slots take. But this is a company that I think is set up very, very nicely to take advantage of. It's close today, 28.29, down a little bit, but I still think very strong. 88 is the composite rating on this one. They do slot machines, and they're very, very big. It's IGT. International Game Technology. I think they're in Reno, Nevada. I think that's where they're located. But anyways, this is a stock that's setting up very, very nicely. I do think that people are going to get sick of it. They're going to want to go and have some fun, and they're going to go to Vegas. They're going to go to Reno. They're going to go to Tahoe. They're going to go to other places too, and they're going to have some fun. And part of the fun is International Games Technology. Also wanted to show you two financials that are setting up. Now again, I don't own these. The only one I do own is Robert Half, the one I showed you the one I first showed you. But these are setting up very, very nicely as well. And I want to show you this one. It's called Jefferies, and it's an investment bank. It's got an incredibly strong 98 relative strength. It's set up very, very nicely. I do think that this one is up today, 0.59. Just a little over half a dollar. 39.87, very, very strong. And they have great investment banking and investment management. So this is one you might want to look at as well to put on your watch list. JEF is the symbol for Jefferies Financial Group. And then I have one more here, Raymond James. You've probably heard of Raymond James. I think Tampa Bay Stadium is named the Raymond James Stadium, I believe. And that is symbol RJF, also doing very, very well along with Jefferies. These are the two ones in the financial areas. The areas that are getting a lot of the love right now are financials and oils. So that's why I'm trying to emphasize that on the show today, kind of ones that I'm looking at in these key areas. Now, Raymond James has a composite rating of 98. Again, extremely strong. Both asset managing, investment banking, kind of the same thing. These aren't the top tier like Goldman Sachs, but these are the kind of the mid tier, and they're very strong. And I think that they're set up very, very well. Who knows what's going to happen? You never know. but these are set up right now, and you probably should be part of your watch list. At least they're part of mine. I do want to show you, this is the stock of the day. This is from IBD. By the way, I get a lot of my stuff from Investors Business Daily, so it's a great source. Highly recommended. I'm not paid any commissions for it, but it's highly recommended. They did put this one up today. It's called Boyd Gaming. It's a casino operator, but they don't have, and this is the great thing, they don't have any exposure in Macau. Now, of course, that's where China gaming is, in Macau. So you want to be very careful about the firms that have Macau in exposure, like Wynn and those. But this is a domestic gaming company, and BYD is a symbol. Very good. Also, I also recommend, I do own MGM. I just bought that. I do think as we get this reopening, some of these gaming plays are going to be very good. And this is one that I think is set up extremely nice. It's got a 71-10 buy zone, so it's a little bit below that. It's a little bit below the buy point. Okay, so if you bought it here, you'd be buying it early, but there is an aggressive buy point at 67.50. We're currently at 64.10, 64.15 closed today. So you might be able to kind of sneak in this one at about 67.50. That would probably be a very good entry if we see some more strength in this. Again, this has got a cup with handle, emerging pattern, which is, that is the best pattern, by the way. That's the best base pattern. So this is one you might want to look at, possibly for acquiring, but you needed to go a little bit higher. Recommend, very aggressive entry, 67.50, but you could possibly enter it at, but the true buy point, 71.10, and so that's also a good idea. So just to recap, just to recap some of those stocks. Just let's go through them real quick. We had. Yeah, just to recap really quickly the stocks that I'm putting in my watch list. Now, the one I do have Robert Half, but I'm also putting in the watch list these stocks: Consol Energy, CEIX, SM Energy. This is the second energy stock, symbol SM. International Game Technologies, IGT. That's one I'm putting in as well. Jefferies Financial. This is an investment bank, symbol JEF. Then also Raymond James. This is for the watch list now. RJF is the Raymond James symbol. And then Boyd Gaming is one that you might want to look at. And that is also setting up very nicely, symbol BYD. Okay, so let's get into the stocks that I'm currently in. And we'll get to the questions here in just a second. As I said, I'm in EOG Resources. This rebounded very nicely. It was up over 5% today, 5.53%. I have this in several of my accounts. Doing quite well, up $4.74, and it's about a $90 stock. I was down a little bit on CRM. This is sort of on the bubble. I may be getting rid of this. I don't know. It's set up. It should be setting up better than this, but it's down a little bit. This is, of course, Salesforce. Everybody's heard of that. I've been increasing my position in Microsoft, and it is absolutely flat. Look at that. It's flat, and so I don't know what to think there. I did increase my position in Robert Half. That's the staffing company, up nicely today. The Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, of course, this is the Bitcoin exposure that I'm talking about. I did move this up a little bit, but I'm primarily in cash right now. So I want to be very, very clear about that. I'm really waiting for that follow-through day in order to get back into the market, really with both feet. I do also have a position in MGM, down a little bit today, but I'm relatively bullish on the domestic, not the international, but the domestic gaming companies. So those are the ones that I think are set up very, very, very nicely, to move in a better way. Kind of want to show you I kind of want to show you my options trades and kind of where they're at. I did have to close one today, which kind of stinks, and I did close it for launch. That was Constellation Brands here. I did close it today. It just wasn't moving in the right direction, and I bought back the spread. This was a bear spread. Again, I expected it to move downward because of the jobs number. I thought, that would affect the S&P 500 a lot more than it did. It didn't. It moved up. So I said, well, I'm just gonna cut my losses here. And we just had one contract, so there I did close this for a loss, $315, which, eh, you know, I like to always be a winner, but if I told you that I won every time, you would say I was a liar, and you'd be right. So I closed this one today for a loss. Now, I do have another bull spread that I'm working with, and of course, that's Domino's. We did a bull call spread on this one. Still a little bit underwater on this one. We had a big sell off, but I just think if the market continues to improve, I think people are going to want pizza, and I do think this one is going up. This has been improving, so that's the reason I'm not closing this one yet. The pizza trade has been improving, so I'm going to hang on. This has a fairly long time spread up here until December, so I'm going to be hanging on to this one. Currently, as you can see, we're a little bit negative here on the trade. Hopefully, as people order more pizza, we will do better. But we're going to be reassessing this every time. So, if you're in this trade, I haven't closed it yet, and I just want to be upfront with everyone that that's sort of how I'm treating it right now. Also, it did have this bear trade on DuPont, and that one, okay, well, we are a little bit underwater, but I do think it has started to come down. It was up a little bit today, so we'll see. This one's on the bubble. I may be closing this one. Just kind of wanted to show you the progress on it. I haven't closed it yet. Trying to see if if I've got my directions wrong. We'll see. This is a bear put spread on DuPont. So, without further ado, let's get to some of the questions for everybody. And let's just get to some of the questions. Thank you so much. And by the way, if you're looking on TikTok, you can see all the charts and everything that I'm going to be showing just by jumping over to this address, bit.ly DTF 384. And also, if you can't get to that for whatever reason, just go to the profile, click on the link, and on my profile, scroll all the way down, and you'll see a feed for the live YouTube that we are showing right now. So let's get into the questions and see the first one here. Hey, Jim, what are your thoughts on Microsoft and Bitcoin reaching a market cap of 1 trillion? Well, you know what? I definitely am very interested in Bitcoin, and the way I'm playing Bitcoin, anyways, is that I am basically doing, I'm kind of doing the easy way, and that is with the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Let me bring that up here in just a second. So what I'm doing is I'm just bringing up the charts right now, and let's relaunch those charts. There we go. Okay, so I do have a position in the GBTC, and they hold about 4% of the world's Bitcoin. So I'm going to put this chart up here, just kind of taking a look at it. Well, I thought I was going to do that. Let's see if I can get the right one. Okay. I am my own, I am my own production staff, so sometimes I mess up here. We're looking at the weekly chart on the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, but let's go over here. We did get an alert on this one, and interestingly enough, it did move above that key 39. That's why I bought it on the first. So it moved above that key level. That's sort of where I wanted to be in. It was at 39. So I started moving into the position as it moved up nicely today. Today we saw a pretty nice move, and as you can see, there we go. This was sort of where I started to be interested in, as it was moving above the 200-day line. I don't like to buy them below the 200-day line. I like to see them above, looking pretty strong actually. We were up today. We have a tight pattern, so we'll see how this goes. But at least for right now, with this potential inflation that's coming, if they don't come to an agreement on the debt ceiling, if they do this spending bill, we're likely to get a lot of inflation. So that bodes well. Inflation is going to bode very, very well for Bitcoin, and it probably is going to do very well for for oil. Now you say, well, Jim, I heard that the thing to buy when inflation is coming is gold. Well, interestingly enough, gold doesn't seem to be doing as well. So my inflation bets really are on Bitcoin through the GPTC, and then also um, on oil stocks, because I do think they're going to continue to do well. I've been letting them run up and then taking profits, but I'm still very bullish on oil right now, and I'm bullish on Bitcoin as of late. I mean, I'm starting to build my position as the GBTC is moving higher, and it's basically moves in tandem with Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin went above 55, that was a key level, and the GBTC then started moving up as well. So the other question, of course, is with Microsoft. This is another stock that I am trying to start an accumulation in, and the reason is because I do think that Microsoft is a bellwether for the tech market. I really believe that. If you're in the Qs, if QQQ, which I also am, I didn't put that on the list, but I do have a position in the QQQ. Microsoft is one of the largest components of it. In many ways, I think Microsoft is better set up this time than Apple and some of the other FANG stocks. So I am sort of trying to get a larger position in Microsoft. Now, Microsoft is not right now a super exciting stock. I mean, it's not like moving up like, tremendously, but it is starting to, move up towards the 305 buy point. Now, I've been buying it a little bit aggressively. Normally, if I were totally following my rules, I would buy it only as it moved above about 305 right here. Is where I'd buy it. I'd buy it as it moves above about 305. But I do believe that we can buy it a little bit early, and I'm just going to try drawing this reversal line here, setting an alert on this reversal line, because I do think that we're starting to see a directional change. We went all the way down. We bounced off of the bottom of this consolidation. This is the consolidation, and I think we're moving higher. So I'm pretty confident that we have probably at least several percent up on this in the next few weeks or so. So that's the part of the reason I am looking to move into a larger position with Microsoft. Also, you'll notice, and I do this, the volume on Microsoft, you'll notice how it's going down. It was very high here, and then it's coming down. Well, what that says to me is that many of the people that are holding Microsoft are not willing to sell it for the bid price. They're only willing to sell it for the ask price, and this will push up the price of the stock. As you can see, the volume is falling, and the price has been going up. So this is bullish. This is bullish for the price of Microsoft. Now, can I predict the future? Absolutely not. But in the short term, that typically is how it works. So I am increasing my position in Microsoft right now, just because I think that Microsoft is likely to do, if there's any tech stock that's likely to do well, it's at least in the near future, it's probably Microsoft. So that's why I'm doing that there. Oh, interesting one. Okay, good question. This is coming from TikTok, and obviously they heard my little soliloquy about BYD. Let's look at BYD. BYD. This is earnings. So this is Boyd Gaming, and I do like this stock. I do like this stock. Now, would I hold it through earnings? Well, I don't own it yet, so I don't know if I will, but I do like the setup. I do like the setup on Boyd Gaming. What I'm doing is I'm drawing a reversal line, and definitely it has started. Oops, I didn't quite get that right. Starting really from this high point here through the intermediate high. That's the line that we want to see. So we have definitely moved, and I'm going to set an alert. And what this alert is, and the reason I'm showing this is because the reason I'm drawing these lines is because this shows when it's starting to move from a downward trend to an upward trend. Now, this is not truly a downward trend. This is what they call a base formation. It's basing, meaning that's come up, and now all of the weak holders are getting taken out, and it potentially is going higher. Really, it started its move back in September, about September 10th. It started to break to the upside. It did. It came up. It tested the 21-day line, and then it came back, it tested it again. I do think that we're very likely, and this is not a bad place to buy it because we're under the 10-day line. So, this might not be a bad place to enter the stock right here. This is a pretty good setup. I want to kind of take a look at a few things on Boyd. We've got a very strong checklist, 89. I'm really liking that. The earnings per share could be better, but everything else is in line. And I do think that, people are just getting sick of staying at home. And this might benefit in a very big way, Boyd Gaming. So this is a nice setup. And again, it's on my watch list. I don't own it yet. BYD is assembled, but I think it's very worth your while taking a look at it. And by the way, this is stock of the day today. So there you go. Hey, Mark, thank you so very much. Excellent. EPD hit the buy point. Let's take a look. EPD. All right. Enterprise Products. And that's a natural gas company. And I like natural gas right now because, I think in the Northeast, unfortunately, you guys are going to be paying a lot for your heating. This because of some what I consider really just stupid things that our government did. I mean, they're just hurting people. But I definitely think you can start coming into this one. This reversed very nicely. You can see that's the reversal line here. I'm gonna reactivate it to show it you. That's the line that I wanted to see it move above. It's moved above that, and it's moved. And this is exciting. At least in my world, it's exciting. It's moved above that 200-day line with nice volume. Okay, so we're looking good. I mean, this is based on this, the volume decreasing, the price going up. This is bullish. It's reversed. It's reversed above the 200-day line. These are good signals. These are good signals in the stock. Now, this could run all the way up to about, at least to 25.70 and maybe beyond. But this is definitely moving to the upside. So as long as oil stays expensive, and I'm afraid it's gonna, this is probably going to move higher. So this one you could probably move into. I definitely think it's made its buy point, and that is a very good thing. So it's a little aggressive to be in here, but um, EP EPD is above the aggressive buy point. So maybe so I would say a half position might work here. So I think you could possibly go in with a small position here, a half position. I would go to the full. Oops, that's a buy stop lower. So basically, it's above the aggressive buy point, which is basically right here. I'm going to reactivate that so you can see it. It's red. It's basically right about here. The buy point that is about 23.50. So beyond that, it's got decreasing volume, and it's above the 200-day line. So it's looking pretty darn good. It's off a little bit after our 6 cents, but I definitely think this could be very nice. And let's look at the chart. Let's look at the. It's not as good as a checklist. I would like to see it. I'd like to see a better one, but it's still not bad. 67 is my minimum. It's in a really, what I like about this is it's a really, really strong group. Oil and gas transport and pipeline, and this should do very, very well, as their pipelines are unfortunately constrained, especially in the Northeast. So this should do well. They should have some pricing power. This one might be a good way to go. Think about pipelines as a because I'm here in Texas, and I've worked as a financial analyst somewhat in the industry. I'm not an expert by any stretch, but the pipelines are very profitable. They're not very exciting businesses. It's just you put some oil in one end and you get it out at the other. It's not really exciting, but they're very reliable. And I like them better than shipping lines and trucking and a lot of other things because they just tend to be very predictable in terms of their cash flow. And that's what I like. So thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for bringing that up, Mark. I always appreciate your comments. Very insightful. Oh, hey, good. And oh, hey, my EPL calls for are doing great, up 35%. You're a superstar. That's great. I should have had a spread on that one. I got to eat my own dog food some more. Some of my spreads are, you know, not not doing as best as I'd like to. So maybe I should turn it over to you. But that's great. I'm glad you're up on your spreads on Enterprise. So I think that's great. Let's look at Ford. That's the. By the way, GM is starting to come out from a deep slumber. I have not had luck on Ford on buying Ford. I like the company, of course. I've owned Fords. I don't have one now, but I've owned them. I just have never been fortunate on this one. Considering the size of this company, this is a very low price stock. Ford is just a massive company, and it's a $15 share, which is kind of impressive. I think it should be more. But anyways, that's my opinion. It's definitely moved above the reversal line. It's above the it's above the 200-day moving average. I'm really liking that. What I'm also liking is that it's moving right up the 10-day line, which if a stock is really healthy, it's above this 10-day line, moving higher. That's typically the case. Here's the thing about Ford. I just think it's a tough one to trade. It doesn't seem to have the umph. It gets up to about 18, and then it comes back down. Maybe a stock that you might want to look at, and this is just an alternative, is GM. Now, GM's a more expensive stock, but GM has a better pattern. It has a double bottom, and it's just come above the 200-day moving average. It's basically right at the buy point, and the buy point on the double bottom pattern is 58.60. It's 58.52 right now, so it's basically right at the buy point. And I do think that GM is a buyable stock. Look at this 89 checklist. Now, if you don't want to buy Tesla, and Tesla has dropped a little bit, but I still like Tesla, of course, GM might be the one to buy. Now, it's not going to double or triple like Tesla did last year. I seriously doubt it. But GM, believe it or not, is a leader in EVs. It absolutely is. And you laugh if you will, but they are a leader, and they're going to sell a ton of them. So I do think, and once they get their handle on the chip shortage, which they should have had a much better supply chain thing than they did. Once they get a handle on that, I'm very actually quite bullish long term. And I'm a short term trader, but I am bullish long term on GM because I do think that they've got some cost advantages. They've got size. They're going to be big in EVs, regardless. By the way, there's another company that I'm looking in the automotive space. It's not the one you think of, but I think you might want to look at it. I'm doing research on it right now. It's called Tata Motors. It's the largest automobile manufacturer in India, which I do believe is the next big coming market. Now everybody's focused on China. I know China this, China that, but I think the elephant in the room in terms of automobiles is India, and I think Tata Motors might be the one, and it's setting up very nicely. I'm going to do a little bit of research on it and hopefully have something for you on research on Tata. But in the automobile group, of course I love Tesla. I did close a spread trade. I don't currently own the shares. I'm waiting for the right setup. I do love that one. Ford, I would love to love it more, but I don't. GM is set up very nicely like that one, and then potentially Tata Motors. So those are the three kind of in the automotive space that I do think are looking good. Let's look at Snap as well. Of course, and that's not in the automotive space, SNAP. I did have Snapchat. I did sell it. I think I see my chart markup here. Yeah, here we go. And what happened is that, I got stopped out 74.81. It's 74.99. So it's sort of regained strength. It's going to take another run at the buy point. The buy point for Snap 80.85 right here. So it does look pretty good. I'm a little bit leery in going back into Snap because once burned, twice warned. It's got an 89 checklist, looks good. I just kind of want to see some more strength. Part of the problem that I have, internet content is doing very well. It's 32nd out of 32 out of 197 in terms of the strength in the market. But I'm just a little bit leery on Snap right now. I think it's a good stock, but I don't know. I think I'm going to wait to see if it can move above about 80 before I get back into it. So those are really my thoughts. Kiro, Ford and Snap, I would have to say probably pass on both. Probably pass on both. Hey Jim, results sees almost. Which are you recommending for buying? Okay. Well, again, I kind of went through my watch list a little bit. I think, I do think that, kind of the normal suspects. I like Robert Half, believe it or not, right now, and that's a staffing company. It's not in my normal thing. Also in the oil space, I like EOG. Let's take a look at that one. This is one I own, so I'm kind of counting my own stuff, but I do think this is right in the buy zone right now. And I do think the oils are going to continue to do well. This is EOG Resources, the only one I held on to. Every other one I took profits in. This is extremely well set up. It was up $4 today, and it's right in the buy zone. So this one I like a lot. Now, it, am I going to take this one forever? I don't know, but I do like this. I also like Microsoft, believe it or not, especially where it is right now. Microsoft is set up. Is starting to set up now. The buy point on Microsoft is 305. So if you were to enter here, now I did enter here. This is an aggressive entry. I'll be honest with you. This is an aggressive entry, but I do like Microsoft as well in this environment. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? It's a tough. This has been a relatively tough market to trade because we haven't been able to rely on many of our big cap tech stocks. One of the ones that I think is sort of a proxy for the overall tech market is Microsoft. I think it's better set up than Apple and some of the other ones. And right now, I think that it has a very good look. It's basically one, two, three. This is the fourth time it's based. I'm sorry. One, two, three, four. So this is the fourth time it's based. So this is a very powerful movement. I think this is kind of a safe bet. I'm going to have more on more speculative stocks. Now there is one speculative stock that's set up really nicely that I'm really watching, and I haven't bought it. It's called Lending Club LC. I want to show you this chart. This is a relatively new stock. I mean, it's been around for a while. It's not an IPO, but what I like about this business, this is basically taking AI and applying it to an area of the market that's been very difficult, and that of course is lending. Credit scores, that kind of thing. And this goes far beyond credit scores. There's another, of course, the leader in this area is Upstart, which is another stock. But this one I think is maybe a little bit better deal. This one could easily double in value. Again, I haven't bought it yet. I'm waiting to get if this is the right price. If this moves above about 33.30 right here, let me show you that. That's where I'm very interested in it. So I'm setting an alert. I'm going to set an alert on this one, sort of a buy alert. And I'm very interested if it moves above about 32. Okay, so I'm setting an alert on that because if it moves above about 32, I think this one might be a good time to get in it. Relative strength is 99. That's strong. Also, an 89 checklist, which considering everything, that's very, very, very good. And also abnormally large volumes. So that's one of the ones that I think is setting up nicely. I don't own it yet, but I'm getting ready possibly to pull the trigger on this one. LC is the name there for that one. Okay, so thank you for that, Farouk. Let's see. Mark, I don't know. I don't know. The chart is not good for that. See the huge capital we filled. What are the IBD numbers and fundamentals? Talking options, though, so you know me. Yeah, you're a very good option trader, I have to say. Let's look at that again. MRK. Let's look at MRK. I just want to kind of look at the fundamentals on MRK for Mark. Go in there, and that's Merck, of course. Merck. I had a spread on this one. I had a very nice little bull spread on this one. Did very well, and so this is a very, very liquid stock. I mean, let's look at the options. Let's kind of look at the options here. Okay, well, we do have some open interest at about the 80 to 82.50. So there's definitely, and especially at the November 21s. The November 21s are kind of, that's interesting. So we definitely have some open interest at the on the November 21s at the 80 strike and the 82.50 strike. And those basically going for 550 and 6. Not a lot of volume, but it seems as if that's kind of the sweet spot. So if you're looking to do, you're looking to buy some calls, that might be the strike that you want to look at. Is 82.50 on the November 21st expiry. So that's kind of where I would look, anyways, for that. Let's see some of the fundamentals. Let's just kind of see what's happening there. Definitely nice sales increase, 22% up, which for a company this size that is very, very good. Again, almost corresponding, a little bit higher on the profit, up 29%. So that's looking good. Lots and lots of funds in this one. This is this is an old standby. This is in a million gazillion funds. This has always been a cash cow. Look at that, 644 per share earnings. That's pretty good. Earnings stability is extremely strong at 4. So, do I like this one? Yeah, I do. Actually, I do like this one. So I think you might want to look, Mark, at some of the November 21 options on this one. Preferably the calls at the maybe a 82.50 strike. So that might be really good. That might be a really good area to go. Bought Ford last week. This is Nico talking. Added yesterday. GM looks similar. Yeah, absolutely it does. The autos. People are moving back into the autos. So I think that's been a strong area. And again, the three automobile companies that I like the best currently are GM, Tesla, and Ford. Let's take a look at Tesla. It did move down a little bit today when they announced that they're going to move to Texas. But I don't think it moved down a lot, to be honest with you. I think it was a surprise. I think the people in the Bay Area, and I spent 15 years in Silicon Valley, so actually, yeah, no more than that, actually, more than that, on and off. They've just got to get their priorities. It's a wonderful place, but they've just got to get their priorities straight there, and I don't know if that's going to happen. But it did move down a little bit after ours. It's still above that 780 level, so I'm still liking it. It's right on the it's right on the 10-day line. So out of the automobile companies, why not consider buying a little bit of Tesla? I mean, you're not going to be able to buy as many shares, obviously, because it's more expensive stock. Or you might want to do a call spread or maybe something like that. But I do think it's finally working off this overhead supply that we had for so long. And the 780 is a very key level, and it's above that. So it's looking pretty good. I did close the bull call spread for a profit right here. So I do like this. So I may be doing another bull call spread. I like the action on this one. And of the autos, I would say Tesla number 1, GM number 2, and then probably Tata Motors, actually. I probably wouldn't say Ford number 3, but let's see if I can bring up Tata, if I can see that, if it lets me do that. It's TATA. That's the largest. Well, I don't think I have the right one. I think maybe it's TA. No, that's Transamerica. Sorry, I'll have to get you the information for Tata Motors, because I definitely don't have it, unfortunately. But I'm doing a study on that to see kind of what's the best. All right, well, great. You're looking at MRO, and of course that's Marathon. And this is one of the integrateds. This is a little bit different than some of the E&P companies that I have. What the difference is, E&P, exploration and production, those are the people that go out and do the speculation, and they typically do better, E&P type companies, in the beginning of an oil cycle. The integrateds typically are later on, because they do the exploration, but they also do the refining and the marketing of oil. So they typically are a little bit later stage. So with this one, and I need to take off my little branding here. There we go. So you can see the price of Marathon. We have moved above that 1433 buy point. We're a little extended here, so I would be a little bit concerned buying. And this is a technical thing. I think the stock is really good. The relative strength is excellent, but I'm a little bit concerned about how far currently the stock is above that 10-day line. Okay, so here's what I would say on this one. And this you basically want to wait for this to pull back a little bit if you're interested in buying it, because right now it's 14%. It's 10% above this 10-day line. You don't want to buy it more than about 5% above it. And these rules are so difficult because they seem like they're always changing, and you think, well, Jim, you're just making them up. Well, no, I don't totally make them up. I mean, these are based on, a lot of things that William O'Neill said. But if you can wait for this thing to pull back, and it may do that, then you might be able to buy it. But it's extended currently, so I just wouldn't right now with MRO. I think you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful here because the stock is extended, and you just don't want to buy a stock when it's extended. You don't want to buy a stock when it's extended because, no matter, even if it's the best stock in the world, it will pull back. So right now, I probably would not buy MRO just because. But if I held it, I wouldn't sell it, obviously. But but I wouldn't buy it at this point. Now on options, we're dealing with a little bit different story. Been loving my MRO options, up 33%. You're doing very well, doing very, very well. The oils are a place to be. That's definitely true. All right, bought Ford last week on reversal. Added something. Okay, you're doing well. Buying at the reversal, that's a great place to buy, and it's a good stock. So it's a very, very good stock. Here we go. Good question, Mike. Mark, still can buy the November IGT 2324 spread at 80 per contract. Not bad. IGT currently 24. Yeah, this is 20% that stays above. Yeah, I think it will too. Absolutely. That's a good one. So I'm going to put that down. IGT spread. Yeah. So thank you for that. That's a very good insight there. That's very good insight there, Mark. I may put that out on the action trade alerts, so that would be great. All right, Polly. Let's look at PFGC to see. PFGC. Yeah, that is Performance Food Group. I don't know. Oh yeah, I know these guys. Okay, I haven't dealt with these people in a while. This is, this was doing better at the beginning of the year. Food service was doing well. I don't like the trend on this chart. I'll be honest with you. I don't like it. We have a downward trend, and so I just think you got to be. Yeah, I just looking at this chart. That's the reversal line. Let me just kind of put the reversal line on there, and I don't think you want this one. I don't think you want this one. It's got a 42 relative strength. The checklist is okay, 67, but it's not an area. It's a 96 out of 197. So I would probably skip this one. It's not a bad stock. I just think that there's better places to be in the market. So I would watch list this one for now. I would watch list this one, Performance Food Group, PFGC, but I think I probably would pass on it. I think I would pass on this one right now. All right. Well, let's take a look at some of the people on TikTok. Thank you for holding. Why are tech stocks going down again? Well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Very good question, by the way. The reason is because of the fear of rising interest rates. Now, if we have interest rates that are nearly zero, which we've had basically for a while, tech stocks are one of the only places you can put money into that are basically, are going to benefit. So the lower the rates, the better tech stocks typically do. Now, I'm not saying all tech stocks, but I'm talking about the more growthy of the tech stocks, the ones that don't have dividends. Now, as you say, Jim, well, you're buying Microsoft. Why are you doing that? Well, it is not a growth stock. It is essentially paying dividends, and it is essentially an established player. So when inflation fears are happening, that basically says that the price of money is going to go up. So therefore, The financials typically do well, they lead, and also the oils, because those are inflation hedges. And the reason, so that's one of the reasons why many of the tech stocks are having so much problem. If you've been watching me for a while, you'll know that I sold out of most of my tech issues. I still have some. I mean, I still have Salesforce, and and I'm buying Microsoft, but I am cut back way back on my tech just because of the fears of the interest rates going up. So that's the reason, and I can't totally pinpoint it because I'm not, totally a prognosticator. But if interest rates go up, look for the techs to, especially the more speculative ones, to go down. Now, that's not saying all of them are going to go down. There's one in stock that I really like called Lending Club, and it's an AI company, but it's basically it's a fintech company. It's in the financial sector. It's using software, but it's in the financial sector. So that's one thing about pure tech plays. You got to be careful with them right now because of rising interest rates. A lot of inflation is coming into the market. That's going to benefit many of the oil stocks, not all the oil stocks. And you think, well, I mean, it's going to benefit some parts of the oil stocks better, the E&Ps, I believe. Those are the smaller exploration and production companies, and somewhat with the integrated. Those are the Exxon Mobils, the Marathons, and those firms, and some of the transports. But that's where rising interest rates, you're going to see more movement into some of these commodity-based, oil-based stocks. So this is a place to be, and I don't think that tech right now is as good as it's been because of the interest rates. So that's the reason that that's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. So as interest rates rise, you're probably going to see techs trim a little bit. So that's just kind of the way it is. Let's look at BBBY, and that's not Build-A-Bear Workshop. BBBY. And no, it's Bed Bath & Beyond. Okay. Bed Bath & Beyond. There was one that I was looking at this summer, Build-A-Bear Workshop, which has the initials of BBW, which I have experience in that department, I'm afraid. Okay. Anyways, Bed Bath & Beyond, not a good looking chart here. Not a good looking chart, going down, and this is kind of not what we want to see. Yeah. So I would have to say pass on this. It's interesting how fast retail furnishings have come down. It's underperforming. People are selling out of this stock right now. So I just think you got to be careful. So here's the thing: I would avoid it. I just think this is right now. This is time to avoid this stock for now. I just think BBBW, you got to avoid it. It's not a good chart. It had a nice run up, at the beginning of the year, but right now it's not time for BBBWs. No, BBBY. I've got BBWs on my mind. Okay, so let's see. Why did you skip my question? Well, I didn't think I did I? I guess I maybe have. Let's look at ARK and BABA. Let's look at BABA. I closed my BABA spread. I did make a little bit of money on it, not much. But BABA has come back. I didn't expect BABA to do as well as it did. I mean, it definitely bounced here. There's a lot of buying, so maybe it's reversed. I'm a little afraid of it. I think what's going to happen is it's going to come up to the 21-day line, and then it's going to retreat once again. I do think this is getting ready. This is potentially a good short candidate. But I was too early in my action on it. So I think that BABA is potentially short. BABA is a potential short, but not now. So that's kind of my take. That's kind of my take on it. Right now, BABA is moving up, but I do think what's going to happen is it's going to come up to this 40-day line, and then it's going to retreat. It's got a relative strength of 8. We do kind of have the beginnings of sort of a head here, and shoulder. The right shoulder always has to be lower than the left shoulder. So this is kind of setting up in a shorting pattern. It's below the 200-day line. It's below the 40-day line, and it's below the 21-day exponential. So, well, no, it comes James just right above that. So it's probably going to go up to about this 40-day line, and then I think it's going to collapse. We do have some action on it. So I think this is a potential short. I do. I believe that BABA is a potential short, but not at this moment. I want to see it rally a little bit, and then I'm probably interested possibly in shorting it. But right now we got to be careful, because I went in too early on a bear put spread. I was a little too early on that. Let's look at NIO. Thanks, Hassan. Let's take a look at NIO, NIO. Of course, this is a Chinese electric vehicle manufacturer. And unfortunately, NIO, like a lot of the Chinese stocks, is struggling right now. And so I don't like this current pattern. I don't think it's very good. I think it's moving lower, and I would be careful. I wouldn't buy this right now. I think this is sort of yesterday's stock. And again, I mean, last year this was just a killer, and we were doing great things with it. But it's funny how things go out of style very quickly. And I think NIO is out of style. So here's what I would say with NIO, and I think there are better ones out there right now. I just think you got to avoid this stock. I think you've got to avoid NIO right now, because it just doesn't look very good to me. Doesn't look appealing based on my charts. All right. Mark, I got to take some other thoughts on NIO. Okay, we did that. Oh, there we go. Oh, thank you very much, Mark. Tata is TTM. Let's look at TTM. This is one that's setting up. Of course, this is the largest. Thank you very much for that, Mark. This is one that's setting up very nicely. So if you're interested in a foreign automobile manufacturer that's really coming into its own, this is the one you ought to look at. Tata Motors, TTM. See, look, it's right above the buy point, 24.27. That's a very nice buy point. It's a little extended, so I don't like to buy them extended, but it's looking very good. There's been a lot of buying in here. Look at that Easter egg. What that Easter egg means is this is the biggest volume since the last base. And look at this, base on base. Base on base is an extremely good pattern, by the way. And I want to point this out, because this might be something that you want to look at. Now, automobile manufacturers are improving, as you can see, 69 out of 197. The top, of course, in the group is going to be Tesla. But this is a tremendous market. Look at this. Checklist is 89 on this one. And Tata Motors is unlike NIO. NIO is not, it only makes electric cars. Tata makes everything. They make trucks, and as a matter of fact, they owned Volvo for a while, Volvo cars. I don't know if they still own them. This is a big company. It's an integrated company with a tremendous market share. So Tata Motors might be one that you want to put on your list, because if you're looking in the autos, this one has a nice ramp. I think doing business in China is going to get a lot more dicey in the near future, just because of political things. I think that the world is going to look to substitute some of that action, and they're going to move probably. And again, I don't know, but they're probably going to move to doing business in India. And Tata Motors is set up very, very well. So this is one I think you ought to consider. And actually, their cars are very good, by the way. I've actually driven one, and they're very good. I mean, and the prices are right. So it's not a bad combination. So take a look at Tata Motors. I mean, it's not Toyota. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's a pretty good one. And I think that you probably, if you're looking in the space, you're probably going to do better with something like that than a NIO. So that's just my opinion, at least for right now. At least for right now. All right. I want to see if TTM comes down after the volume and then going into. You know what? Here's the thing. I don't think you need to see. I want to buy it as it's moving higher. That's sort of my take on it. I want to move it. I want to buy it as it's moving higher, and it's definitely moving higher. And so, I mean, will it come down? It might. I mean, I think it might. It might fill this gap. See, there's a gap here. So let's look at it. There's a gap here. So it probably is going to come down and test the 24.27 buy point. It's probably going to do that. So you probably don't want to buy it here. It's extended. Let's see if it corrects. But if it does, then I think this one might be a very, very nice one. So I think it's in a cup formation. It probably is going to form a handle. We probably don't want to get into it right now. We want to watch this one. But I think that this one could be very good in the very near future. So I would watch this one, Tata Motors, if we get the market turning up. And the thing is, this Tata Motors doesn't have as much exposure to the American market, which I think is great. And I think the Indian market is going to chug along and do very, very well. So, anyways, thank you very much for that, Brett. That's why it's okay. Let's see. Oh, Voyager was okay. Okay, so Voyager got it with Pfizer. That's interesting. Okay. Well, good. Well, thank you very, very much for that. Oh, and we want to take a look at this VYG RGM. Last 2 days up about 100%. Let's look at that. Boy, I haven't been watching that one. I will say that biotechs are my blind side. I'm not good at them. That's one of the tougher areas because there's just so many of the companies in there. So I am not an expert in bio, I have to admit. But yeah, you definitely, this is almost like a penny stock. Yeah. And then it booms up. Okay, so a deal with Pfizer. I'd still be a little bit worried about this one. I want to kind of see it form a base pattern. I don't like buying them that don't have base patterns. This doesn't have one. Yeah, see the trend on this has just been downward, and then all of a sudden great news. Well, I want to see it form a base. Their sales are down and they're losing money. So I just don't know. I mean, maybe it's going to be great. It's got cash flow. I do like that. But I'm just a little bit leery on the biotechs. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. It's the end of the hour. It's the end of the week. I'll be back on Monday, and I hope everybody is going to have a nice weekend. Let me see if I have any more questions on ARK Invest. Okay, so here's the thing. If you want to get on the action trailer, it's very, very easy to do. Just go to my profile if you're watching on TikTok, and just first and last name and a email address. We put out the watch list on the last one. We may be updating that as well, but we put out the link to the watch list. So if you haven't gotten that, I do recommend the action trade alerts, and that's easy. And if you're watching and you're not on TikTok, it's super easy. Just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor, and it brings you right to the same site, and you just need first and last name, and we can get you on that action trade alerts list, so you can get access to those watch lists. Okay, and it's free. That's free. We do have a Discord room too. I don't talk enough about that. That's sort of our ongoing thing. That is a pay service, but we've had some very, very good luck with people making money in that too. So at the beginning of the trading day, I'm usually there. Hopefully, if I get up, if I wake up, I'm there, and I'm trying to show how I'm doing my trades. And then, if you have questions, and by the way, the great thing about the Discord room, it's not just me. There are other people in there that are just fabulous. We have one gentleman in there that's just really, really good. He's pretty much of an expert trader, and so we have a lot of people that are interacting, and it's sort of a self-help group, and we all want to make money, and that's the key. So that's another thing. That's with the Discord room, the special Discord service. You can get access to that by going to www.Dallas Trading Floor. So I will be back on Monday at 3:30 Central. I hope everyone's going to have a nice weekend. Stay safe, everybody, and I will see you back here on Monday.